This week's Torah portion, good afternoon. This week's Torah portion, we learned the Eile HaMishpatim. These are the laws, and these are the laws, a continuation of the 10 Commandments that God gave the Jewish people at Sinai, in which we try to live by day. The last of the 10 Commandments is do not covet that which your friend has. So often in life, we're always looking what the next one has and wishing we could have their car, their home, their husband, their wife, their money, their bank account, their children, their parents, their circumstances. But as we say, the grass is always greener on the other side. And the Torah warns us, do not covet that which your friend has. And many of the commentaries say that the reason why it's the last of the 10 Commandments and the last of the 5 between man and man is because it's the root of all problems. Murder, killing, swearing falsely, all these things come when you covet something which is not yours, when you don't have gratitude and happiness for the things that God gave you, and joy in the life that you have, and constantly looking at what the next one has. And it leads to challenges, to troubles in society and for all of us. I think we live in a time when the do not covet is sometimes at its worst, where people are always looking what the next one has. You look at your social media feed, and that's what it's full of. But this past 2 weeks ago in Israel, there was a terrible tragedy. But in the tragedy, we saw the opposite of do not covet. And it really moved me very much. Nothing comes without pain. In the Jordan Valley, there was a group of commanders who were checking for terrorists. And they encountered another group of soldiers who were also checking for terrorists. But it wasn't coordinated. And none of them realized that there was another group there. And the first group thought that the other group was terrorists, and they shot up in the air. And the other group told them to stop, and they thought they were how devastating something like this is. But within the darkness, there was something very moving. You know, one of the commanders who was killed, his name was Itamar El-Harar. And Itamar El-Harar, was 26 years old. He just got married a year ago in a backyard ceremony during Covet, just him and his wife and 10 people. And he was dedicated to the protection of the people of Israel and the land of Israel. And in the first year of his marriage, he missed many special times and celebrations and holidays with his new wife because he was protecting and looking after Eretz Yisrael, the people of Israel. And his wife, 24 years old, what a beacon of light to the Jewish people. She was speaking about her wedding just a year ago, and how it didn't make a difference that there was just 10 people, no music, nothing, because the most important thing was to marry the love of her life and spend every hour, every day with him. And she spoke about how special he made her feel, and how much he loved her and how much she loved him. And then she spoke about going to the temple, to the shul that he davened in this past Shabbat, and praying, and how much pain she was in. And when she read the Amidah, which has 18 blessings, all she could think about was one blessing: the resurrection of the dead and being reunited with her loved one, with Itamar, who gave his life for his people and was killed in an accident. And then the TV interviewer asked her, he said, tell me, what message do you have to the soldier who accidentally killed your husband? And she said, the message I have for the soldier who killed my husband is to please move on and go on with your life. It was an accident. I think about how I would feel if by accident my husband killed someone. I would want him to go on with his life. I would want him to move on and to be a happy person and to be able to continue with his life. And that's what I want for this soldier. And to his family and friends, I look at him and I say, please give him strength, give him courage, give him hope to go forward. It was an accident. And I can only want what I would want for my husband and for my family that should happen to him. And I thought about this remarkable woman in the depth of her pain, losing the love of her life after 1 year of marriage. Someone that she didn't even spend enough time with because he was out there protecting the people of Israel. But what does she think? Instead of thinking and coveting that which her friend has, she is thinking and putting herself in their shoes and thinking, what would I want? And if that's what I want, that's what I want for them. That's the story of Am Yisrael. That's the story of the people of Israel. That's the story of the eternity of the love of our people. in the depth of a tragedy, in such a hardship, as we've seen this last week in Israel, we see so much positive hope of love, of caring for one another, of brotherly love. And we know when we see stories like this that the Jewish future is bright, and we will continue. So instead of do not covet, look at this remarkable woman, or the light onto our nation. Look what she thought, and let us act in that way, and never covet or be jealous of what our friend has, but want them to have what we have, all the good things, so they can be as happy as we are. God bless you. Have a great week. Hope it's a great start to your day and a great start to your week.